Merama was the envy of all men in Mesiwa village. Both his physical appearance and demeanor made heads turn his way wherever he went. He was as tall as a sisal stem, with a wide hairy chest, with the shoulders squarely positioned to give the image of a great athlete and builder. He had bright, piercing eyes like those of Wanyamwezi. He walked his full height, always chest out like the bull of the homestead, clad in a hide and skin that was treated and softened by animal fat. Merama covered his body from waist to his thighs. His wrists had bracelets fashioned by Umutuli, the village blacksmith, while his ears bore holes big enough to allow 3 fingers to go through. His body muscles under his dark chocolate skin were a sight to behold. In his youth, Merama was the best village wrestler and won many trophies in the form of spears and swords. He was often decorated by being offered some of the most beautiful village girls for wives, but he would decline because he had no animals for the bride price. In later years, Merama was to be married to his first wife, Wankuru, a beauty with no parallel, and later to Muruga, his second wife. On reaching the ripe age for getting a wife, Merama realized that he had no cows to pay for his dowry. He was born Omosoroli, the only child of his mother, who was a widow. Merama's father was killed in the Great War between Baihumbu and Bambareno clans of the Abakure tribe, a war that resulted to so many deaths, with so much blood being shed that River Mesiwa changed color into red. It is said that the wild hyenas had so much food to eat that month that there was no goat eaten by the beasts during that period. Merama grew up with hatred towards Baihumbu clan, who he always blamed for his wars and the misery that his mother lived in. There are many times when Merama swore to do something terrible to the entire Baihumbu clan. Seeing all age mates and Rika youths circumcised at same time during the same season, already married and some with 2 children, Merama thought of something that was to shape the rest of his life. Traditionally, it is one sister who enables a brother to marry. The bride price paid for a sister always belongs to the immediate brother to use as bride price. He had no sister and he had no cattle with which to pay the bride price. Unless he took action, he would die an unmarried man with no sons to keep his name alive. He had to do something. Merama trains to hit back the Baihumbu clan. Very discreetly, without sharing his plan with his mother Matinde Omwita, for he feared that if she knew of his intention, she would not allow him to proceed. One cold and lonely morning, Merama climbed the adjacent hill, Nguku Omoro, the hill of Omoro, deep inside the forest, and laid down his luggage, a large cache of weapons, which was made of hide. The hill was steep and high. It had numerous kinds of trees which formed a dense canopy, shielding the ground with vegetation, which consisted of vines and many other small plants such as ferns. There were many rocks, some being taller than a man's height, some flat, some with striking shapes. Often, monkeys would chatter from the tall trees as birds of the air echoed their sweet melodies across the forest. The scenery was beautiful to behold. When he was on top of the hill, Merama took out his weapons: 3 short spears, 2 traditional swords, a mace, 3 quivers full of poisonous arrows, 3 bows, and lastly a shield. Identifying a good stone to grind the weapons, Merama started grinding all the weapons that needed to be sharpened to precision. All his attention and focus were on the task he was doing, recognizing that not only was he grinding the weapons but also giving orders and instructions to his weapons, whose only relevance was to give him victory against all odds. The spears consisted of sharp iron head, deeply sunk into the straight lean pole and tightly fastened by the rawhide cord. Likewise the sharp arrowheads. The weapons were special, He saw life in the weapons. He spoke to them. He had faith in them. And he did it like a spiritual connection to these weapons, for he knew that his victory highly depended on these weapons. During this training exercise, Merama reacquainted himself with the weapons as a refresher course. He aimed at targets, speared the tree trunks, threw his mace, ran up and down the hill, trying to avoid trees and shrubs. By the time the sun was sinking over the enemy territory, Merama was satisfied that the refresher course was good, but not good enough. I need one more training session, Merama said to himself. After the training, Merama collected all his weapons, kissing each one of them, laid them side by side, folded his kit bag, and walked with it downhill, fearing to leave it on the hill lest the hyenas picked up the smell of the animal fat on the kit bag. The Abakuria people made different bags for different purposes. The bags were all made from hide of an animal. This kit bag was long in shape, long enough to contain quivers of arrows, swords, and maces. From a distance, he spotted his mother gathering some iritiambui, wild type of vegetables. Some distance from the homestead, he quietly entered his dingy hut and concealed his cache of weapons under his rough bed. He stretched himself, rotated his wrists, neck, and limbs. He could feel the effect of the training beginning to take effect. He stared into the fireplace and felt hungry. Innocently, he walked towards his mother Matinde, who was still out in the field gathering vegetables. On seeing her only child and son approaching, Matinde, holding the ekehe, a vegetable basket, against her waist, straightened up and gave a welcoming smile. "Welcome, my son. You must be hungry. I am sorry I have been out since morning. The sister to your grandmother is not doing well, though there is some improvement. At least today she was able to finish a calabash of soup that my cousin had prepared for her. Be strong, son. Supper will be ready in a moment." Merama smiled back and apologized for the big responsibility that his mother had. Matinde radiated beauty. She was of medium height, with an exciting body shape that reflected the ideal image of an Abakuria woman. She wore a hide skin strapped at her waist and extending to her knees. She wore many bangles on her hands, at her wrists, and at the upper section of her hand. Her ears were traditionally pierced, such that they dangled down to her shoulders, forming a unique fold on her shoulders. She exuded the image of a woman who had seen it all, pain and loneliness, yet so full of grace and wisdom. Looking at his mother lovingly, Merama said, "Mother, soon and very soon you will have a daughter-in-law. You will be served like a queen. You will not need to worry about my stomach anymore, neither about what we shall cook for supper. I am about to add numbers to our family. We will be many in the family. You will have many grandchildren, Mama. Many branches will come out from you. Very soon it shall be well." Joyfully, his mother walked up to where he was standing, lightly spat on her right hand, and put the hand over her son's head, and uttered a blessing over him. "May your ancestors watch over you, my son. Your great-grandfather, whom you are named after, always walk with you." Matinde was excited by her son's reassurance about a brighter future. With a slight bow to his mother, Merama walked past her and headed to a large fig tree at the edge of the farm. Leaning against the tree, he looked into the distant horizon, deep in thought about what he was about to do. The sun had now set, and a blanket of darkness was closing in on the village. He was immersed in deep thoughts until a thunderstorm stirred him out of the reverie. He sauntered back home and headed straight to his Isiga. For the first time, his heart felt empty, lonely, and cold. More than ever before, he wanted a wife. Being an Umumura, a young warrior, he was not allowed to stay for long in his mother's hut. So he sat in his hut, waiting for his mother to bring him food, His mother had lit a fire in his heart, and all he needed to do was to add more firewood to get both heat and light. Merama's mother walked in with brown ugali made from cassava flour, served with iritiambwe, wild vegetables, that she had earlier picked from the fields. To complete the dinner, there was a big piece of inchage, roast zebra meat, along with green pepper. She invited her son to eat, and with a tap on his head, she walked out without a word. Merama ate his supper slowly and deliberately, gazing into the fire. The zebra meat was a real delicacy, especially when roasted. Hunters, after killing a zebra, would skin it, chop it, and slice it into sizable pieces and allow it to dry out in the sun. The sun-dried meat was often sold in the marketplaces, though often reputable dealers would receive buyers in their homesteads. To properly roast a piece of zebra meat, one had to bury it in the hot ashes as the fire burnt. No wonder roast zebra meat was the true delicacy. After the day's grueling training, this was a most refreshing meal to Merama. The tongues of fire danced as a gentle breeze blew through the vine door, causing his shadow to also dance on the rough mud wall of his heart. He stared at his shadow on the wall and felt the hollowness in his life. He wondered what his mother was doing in her heart and wished that she had grandchildren to keep her company and engage her in the talking. He pitied his mother, and with finality he muttered aloud, "Soon, and very soon, mother, I will bring our family to life. Through my children, I will restore my father back to life." Merama pushed the simple utensils aside and straightened himself, checked on his kit bag of weapons, and tapped on it lightly. He walked to the stool next to the door and sat on it, cupping his chin in the palms of his hands. His mind raced to the time when as a little boy his father would take him to the river, where he showed him the herbs used to drag fish so they floated on the water, allowing them to collect the dragged fish from the shores of the river. He remembered with nostalgia his father climbing the trees to get him fruits which he ate to his delight and satisfaction. He savored the memories of his father teaching him how to sling the bow from his right to the left and quiver left to the right. He smiled and stood up. He walked to his bed and spread the hide on his makeshift bed and put some soft sheep skin in position to act as a pillow. With another hide, he covered himself and fell sound asleep.